Hey everyone, my name is Justin Wenig. I'm CEO and co-founder of Coursedog. Coursedog provides class schedule planning and curriculum management solutions for almost 55 universities. We work with institutions large like BYU and small like Laguna College or State University of New York community colleges to streamline their administrative processes, improve student outcomes, and cut costs. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to walk you through our platform and how Coursedog can actually help specifically with the process of class schedule planning. From offering the right courses, seats, and sections to enforcing scheduling policies to actually optimizing your room assignments. Um, so I'm going to get started here. Coursedog really starts by actually integrating directly with your SIS and pulling out schedule data so that we can do an analysis of your scheduling policies to see if they make sense for your campus. So one of the things we actually consistently see is that a lot of schools have quite a bit of bundling during prime times. A lot of schools have many classes bundled in between the hours of 10 and 2 or 9 to 3 or whatever might be the prime times on your campus. And another thing you might see is that, hey, you might not be using your space as best as possible. Your seat utilization or space utilization may not be up to par, but that's okay. We're going to work to make that better. So what you can actually do in Coursedog is we actually work with you to understand those best practices for scheduling policies. We have a team of former university registrars from universities like Kane that will actually work directly with you to understand the research and literature and actually help you to build out scheduling policies in our platform that will actually be automatically enforced. So what does that mean? What you can actually do in Coursedog is define scheduling policies. An example of this might be, hey, a maximum of 50% of sections are going to be scheduled from 10 to 2. Another example of this is time blocks. If your campus has standard time blocks, you can actually build them directly into Coursedog. And what's really cool about this is you can define all these rules and time blocks, and what Coursedog will actually do is it'll automatically enforce those scheduling policies at the scheduler, or if you're a decentralized school, at the department level. So what there is basically the ability for you to automatically see at all times, hey, are there errors in this schedule? Did I forget to assign an instructor, or did I double book an instructor? Or even, hey, am I in compliance with my meeting pattern rules? Am I scheduling all my courses from 10 to 2, or am I in compliance? And so Coursedog will allow, not only do we help you to set up those policies based on the best practice and research literature, but we can automatically enforce them at the scheduler level, eliminating the need for you to do SQL queries and manually sending people documents so that they have to, build schedules within your policies and figure it out on their own, which they may or may not do. Any questions from the audience so far?
Yeah, so with the
And who do I have speaking here?
oh, this is Nate.
Hey, Nate. How you doing? Nate's registrar over in the state of Virginia.
Yeah. So with the custom rules or with the rules for the individual sections, how customized can you get with them? Say, I wanted to indicate something more specific, like whether or not the lecture was allowed to be recorded.
Hey, that's a great question, Nate, and thanks so much for joining us today. You can actually get any type of custom rule that you want to build into Coursedog and enforce, you're able to do. So what we actually have is the ability for you to define custom rules, And what custom rules are is basically you can define these super custom types of things that you want to be enforced at the scheduler level. An example of this might be for some of you, hey, let's make sure that, our room, labs are only going to be taught at 2 p.m. Or labs are only going to be taught at 4 p.m. Or you can even get as nuanced to say, hey, let's make sure that, let's make sure that in a certain department, in our econ department, I want to make sure that, the maximum enrollment doesn't go above 100. And so you can really get super nuanced with these rules and set them up so that they match your individual campus's process and are enforced at that scheduler level. Does that make some sense, Nate?
Yep, that sounds really good.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. Cool. So, on top of having the ability to automatically enforce all your different scheduling policies and check for errors, taking a step back now, one of the things that Coursedog's able to do is actually help you during the rollover process, or if you don't do a rollover, if you do a rollover, prior to that actual scheduling process. One of the things we can do is actually identify some suggestions about, hey, what courses should we be offering this term, and how many seats and sections should we be offering in those classes. So how do we do this? What's really cool is Coursedog actually can pull data directly out of your systems through our SIS integrations and through integrations we have with your more broad student success ecosystem. So for some of you, that's a degree audit solution like DegreeWorks. For others of you, it's built-in degree audits like Genzabar built-in audit or other things. But regardless of what data you have and how it's stored, we can basically ingest information on your historical data to do two types of analysis that help us to provide recommendations about what courses and how many seats and sections should be offered. So what we do is we actually can do a historical analysis. So that's looking at, hey, are there 100 students in Econ 101? And, what does that mean? That's a pretty good indicator that we're going to have near 100 in Econ 101 for a future term. And the second is a program analysis. So that's actually looking at, hey, if there were 100 students in Econ 101, then that's a pretty good predictor of how many students might enroll in Econ 102. And specifically looking at what are the unmet program requirements that our students have. And so based on these data points, we can actually provide direct recommendations about, hey, the number of students needing this course is going to exceed the available seats in the roll forward schedule, and where the number of students needing the course is less than the available seats in the roll forward schedule. And so literally, as opposed to, a lot of you may have internal policies about, hey, if a section is less than 4 students, we're going to cut it, and, manually running calculations and trying to figure out when we should adjust the number of seats and sections or whatever. What if you had a direct reports and recommendations dashboard that would literally tell you, hey, here's places where we should reduce or eliminate courses or sections. And here's where we should add. This is where we might want to consider, hey, there was a huge wait list last term. This is a really important course that students need to move down their degree path. Let's add more seats or let's add more sections. And so not only do we give you these data points, but we actually have what's called a smart rollover. And what a smart rollover is it's literally allows you to look at those recommendations, decide which ones of these recommendations we're actually going to take. So saying, hey, I want to take your recommendations about this number of seats. I want to eliminate this section to better utilize my faculty resources and cut costs. And then you can literally do a smart rollover in Coursedog that you take those recommendations. It literally builds, hey, here's all the courses that are required for graduation. Here's all the changes to the number of seats and sections that you made. And then you literally can just do this one rollover. And in minutes, what would have previously taken you days, in minutes, you can have the perfect rollover with the right courses and the right number of seats and sections. Any questions from the audience about smart rollover and historical and program analysis as well? Yes.
Hi, this is Zach Drollinger, reaching out from the University of California, Santa Barbara. My question is, who is actually able to do these kind of changes within the platform? Is there a way that I can restrict who has access to what?
Yeah, that's an awesome question, Zach, and thanks for joining us. What you're able to do actually is fully restrict, if you guys are a decentralized institution, you could actually turn on and off access to your different stakeholders. So what you could actually do is, when your department schedulers, you want them to be able to schedule, you can turn on a switch saying, hey, let's grant you editing access. They can even get an automatic email and say, then they'll be able to go into their account where they see their own schedule and they can do their own specific department scheduling on their own. When that period comes, when you want to do the review process and you're starting to get this data into your SIS through our real-time integration, what's awesome is that you can actually restrict and turn off that access directly. So it's literally like an on-off switch. You can control access so people edit the right things. Does that kind of make sense, Zach?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thanks for explaining that.
No problem. Cool. And I think we have another question from Nate. Hey, Nate, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. So with the predictive analytics piece, I've been doing this job for a long time, and scheduling is a big part of my role here. And so, I guess I'm a little cautious about trusting the recommendations from a computer and just blindly going with them because, the consequences of the schedule being incorrect fall directly on me, and they are significant. So can you speak to sort of some outcomes that you've seen or that you could expect with trusting those recommendations?
Yeah, definitely, and thanks, and that's an awesome question, Nate. And I think ultimately, these recommendations are recommendations. We're taking into account these data points, but you're ultimately the expert that's going to decide whether or not you want to take them. I am happy to cite the outcomes that our schools have seen from these recommendations. One of them that's absolutely amazing is that about 40% of our university customers will save more dollars in year one just from our recommendation regarding eliminating extraneous sections. Sections where only 2 or 3 students might involved and where you can better allocate those faculty resources. 40% of institutions will save more money in year one than the cost of our software license in that year one. Another example of this is, one of the recommendations we'll provide is, hey, what are the courses that you actually need to offer for students to graduate? And we have never, 0% of our clients have had to add a course that has been required to graduate after doing our smart rollover. So just those two things alone, cutting a lot of costs and having this guarantee and peace of mind that you're offering all the classes required for graduation can be a huge boost on your end. But there's obviously a lot more, and happy to speak offline if you want to chat more about that, Nate.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. So, the next stage of this is really helping to facilitate the actual scheduling process at the department level. So, not only are we helping you offer the right courses, seats, and sections to cut costs and to drive students faster down their degree path, and enforcing your scheduling policies to eliminate the need for manual querying and eliminating any schedule errors. But we also provide a better scheduling experience for your department schedulers, or if you're centralized, for your individual schedulers as well. One of the things we actually have is what's called a faculty preference form. And what the faculty preference form is basically a customizable form that you can use to directly gather instructors' preferences. And this is amazing because if you speak with your department schedulers, or if you are doing this scheduling process directly, one of the challenges is actually incorporating all the preferences that faculty have in this process. So what Coursedog has is actually a customizable form builder that allows you to directly gather faculty preferences, and that actually helps to streamline and automate the process of making assignments based on those preferences. And in addition to that, one of the other things we do, if you're at an institution that's particularly space constrained, or you're looking to move toward a more student success driven scheduling process, is we'll actually provide scheduling form templates that have worked really well at other institutions to help facilitate gathering faculty preferences, but also building student driven schedules. So a great example of this is we strongly recommend asking faculty what times would you not like to teach, as opposed to what times would you like to teach. Because they all say, hey, I'm teaching at 2 p.m., and then you got to spread out the schedule, well, you're going to get a lot of angry faculty. While if you ask, what times would you not like to teach, at least you have the ability to start to schedule around those constraints. And it can, our internal data suggests that this makes life a lot easier for the schedulers to build student-driven schedules. Any questions about instructor preference forms? Cool. And so, what this actually will then do is, as you're doing the scheduling process, the system is actually going to pull in these preferences and create a prioritized list for you of, hey, who are the faculty that might be eligible to teach this course, who've said maybe they want it, or who are available to teach at this time. And literally, you can just go through this list for instructors and for your time assignments as well, which will pull in, hey, what are the valid time blocks? Did the faculty have any time scheduling preferences? And what our schedulers will do is they'll literally come in during instructor and time scheduling, go in, look at the top of the list, choose through the few options that are eligible, boom, 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 boom. Scheduling happens much faster, and you get a totally student-driven instructor and time schedule as well. Awesome. So one of the other benefits of this is you can actually use this system to automatically track faculty load. So if you have, if you're manually checking that in your academic affairs office, or if your schedulers are responsible for doing that, you can automatically track that faculty load and make sure that your full-times are teaching the right number of hours, and that the adjuncts are also teaching the correct number of hours as well. And with this, you also get a lot of different out-of-box reports and analytics to help at the department level to better distribute the schedule and to facilitate easy scheduling on their end. Another thing that you can do with this system is actually, if you ever have cases where you may need to, if someone wants a custom time block, or if there's a type of request the department makes or your scheduler makes that needs to get routed to, hey, maybe the registrar's office or the VP for approval, you can actually set up workflows in our system so that requests get routed automatically. Hey, I want a custom time block. Let's route it automatically to the right person. And then you can just have a simple request dashboard where you can see, hey, what's the impact of that request, and automatically approve it with one click. It'll send a notification back to your scheduler, automatically update the schedule, automatically update everything, and it's good to go. Any questions from the team that's here regarding the last few things we've discussed?
No, I think this looks great from my end, Justin. I'm actually just curious about what implementation looks like for a tool like this.
Hey, that's a great question. Thanks, Zach. Implementation, so Coursedog is, we have out-of-box integrations with all of the major SIS systems. So if you're an Ellucian school, if you're a Genzabar school, if you're a Workday school, if you're a PeopleSoft school, even Campus Solutions, Unit 4, those types, we have out-of-box integrations with. Traditionally, we like to slot about 4 to 6 weeks to do a full real-time bidirectional SIS integration. And then there's another 2 to 3 weeks that would be required for training. Some of our clients that are on a more expedited timeline will just start with a straight CSV upload. In that way, you can get started scheduling in just a week or two, which is pretty crazy. But in most cases, we'd say, hey, let's do this in about 6 to 8 weeks, so that we have some time on both sides, to prepare for launching this tool across campus.
Got it. And as far as ongoing support after that, what does that look like for us, Justin?
Yeah, so this is where we're really differentiated. So for those of you that are used to dealing with maybe not the best customer support in the world, one of the great things about Coursedog is we actually provide live chat support on our platform for our super admin users. And we actually have a team of former university registrars that will work directly with you for customer support and with setting up all your workflows and time blocks and form migrations and all of that. A great statistic is about 90% of our support tickets are resolved in less than 10 minutes. We've never said no to building a custom report for a school. And, let's say you have an issue, you can literally get on a video call with someone in minutes to help you work through it, and you'll be off and run into the races. So support is really ad hoc at this point. That's one of the benefits of partnering, with one of the fastest growing, but still obviously a young company, such as Coursedog.
Great, thanks.
Awesome. And I should also say I work directly on on all of the implementations as well. So, I would be your contact person, for the most part as well. Cool. So the next stage of this process is normally going to be room scheduling. So, one of the great things about Coursedog is not only do we have this whole offer the right courses, seats, and sections, enforce scheduling policies, create workflows to accommodate scheduling requests, but we have a full room optimization and room management platform as well. So in Coursedog, for those of you that have some department ownership or priority rooms, you can actually release priority rooms or these individual rooms to your departments. So what you can actually do is say, hey, the bio department is going to own a certain group of rooms, and then they can actually go directly into the platform. And when they're doing their room scheduling, they can see a list of, hey, here's all the rooms that are available in my department, prioritized by the best space fit, and all the features that are required in the course. So what this does is it actually is nudging departments to better utilize their space and allows you to decentralize a lot of that room scheduling process and better manage and have transparency into the room scheduling process at the department level as it happens. In addition to that, for your general space or for space that is fully owned in the registrar's office, we have a full-fledged auto assign algorithm that will automatically assign all of your courses to rooms based on the features that are required in the room, based on any instructor-led preferences, based on what's the preferred building and the preferred features in the room. And it literally will do this automatically for all of your rooms to get the best space fit. And one of the key differentiators about us is, and this is really where our hands-on support comes into play, is we'll actually hop on the phone with you each semester and literally walk you through, hey, what's this going to look like for us to actually build out, this optimization and to run it. So what a traditional process might look like is Coursedog pulls in automatically all of the, if you have any shared spaces or course relationships, Coursedog will pull that into the optimizer automatically, so that you don't have to do any work manually linking together any of those courses. The second step would traditionally be, hey, let's gather room preferences. So you can actually gather these room preferences directly from your faculty, to say, hey, what are your preferred room features? What, for example, might be your preferred building? And then you can even get nuance and say, hey, when is this a priority instructor? Are they tenured? Is this someone that I want to just say, hey, I just got to give them whatever room they want, or otherwise they're going to be a huge pain. And what this will actually do, you'll literally just automatically assign all your courses to rooms, and it eliminates all double bookings. Our average client sees about a 10 to 15% increase in their space utilization. And it's a pretty effective way to save time and cut administrative costs as well, and better utilize your space. Cool. Awesome. So, the last step of this process is really after the fact change request. So this is something that, again, is handled through our ticketing dashboard. And as opposed to you having to manually handle all these emails from faculty playing email ping pong, you can see a direct impact report of any requests. They can flow through a ticketing system, and you can automatically approve, reject, ask for more information. It'll notify the instructor, and it'll directly update your SIS as well. And this really leads into the last point. Traditionally, what a school will do is around when the scheduled data begins to be finalized, so that may be in your review process or your last minute changes, we flick on a switch. And from then on, Coursedog actually has a real-time integration where it's writing data to your SIS, in addition to continually pulling data out of it, for any updated courses or information that's been updated in your SIS. Awesome. Would love to turn it over to the crowd now. Do we have any questions about, I gave a high level today, but any questions about that you want to go into more depth with about how the Coursedog platform works?
Yeah, I have a question. You said that you integrate with the SIS out of the box. We're currently using PeopleSoft today. What would that integration look like from our side?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what we actually do is we work with one of Oracle's recommended integration partners, a end-to-end. And what it basically looks like is we fold them into our team. And they have a pre-built basically query that'll extract data out of PeopleSoft. They sit in the middle of this integration, and they have so they do gets with their pre-built queries to get data out of PeopleSoft, and they do posts from our system. So you can think about them as sitting in the middle and facilitating this integration. This is awesome on your end because you don't have to write any custom code to get data out of PeopleSoft and to worry about writing data back to your SIS. It's literally just giving the right privileges and access so that we do have the ability to write data and to get data out of your system. And then we handle all the manual work to facilitate that. But it's actually an integration, and it's something that you don't have to continuously maintain. It's done completely on our end.
Wow.
And obviously, there's no additional fee for this. It's all incorporated in the cost of our software license.
Got it.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I'm at a pretty big school, and we've had this sort of custom solution for a long time, and a lot of our department heads have come up with sort of their own inventions for how to manage their scheduling. How do you sort of view compliance at the department level, and do you ever have any problems with sort of department heads being stubborn and not wanting to adopt the platform? And then do you have any advice for me in working with that?
Hey, that's a great question. And I think, at a lot of decentralized universities, that's what you're going to, or big universities, that's what you might see, or you might, transparently in the short run, giving them anything new might not, they might not come off and be like, this is, we're super excited about this. But what our internal statistics suggest is that about 3 to 5 months out, our satisfaction rate at that department head level is over 90%. So obviously adopting any new platform is going to be frustrating, but usually when they see, hey, wait a second, I don't have to create a Google form. I don't have to manually have conversations with faculty to gather preferences. I don't have to manually check for errors, and I can build better schedules for my students. Hey, that's a pitch that I can get behind. So, this is really something that is a process. In the beginning, they might not be too hot, but, a couple months out, this is going to be a decision that they're going to love and that's going to make a big impact on your campus.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining me today. If anyone has questions, please feel free to give me an email directly at jwenig@coursedog.com. And I'm also going to leave my personal cell phone number as well for all of us that have joined us today. It is 646-853-5446. I'd be extremely happy to hop on the phone and learn a little bit about any of your scheduling processes individually and see if there could be alignment for Coursedog to be a partner for your institution. Thank you very much.